So the way it's going for the Eagles, it seems like everything's going to have to get worse and bottom out before it starts to get better. And I hope tomorrow these media guys are ready to ask Howie Roseman and Nick Kotite the tough questions. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, I can't think back here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you hanging in there. You know, I am not a smart man. And after reading all the things that I've been reading about the Eagles today, I am even dumber than I was this morning. That's right. It is getting harder and harder to calculate the calculations of the cornbread because I can't do math and I can't remember numbers. I'm getting really dumb. And I'm already dumb. But that's just the way it is. What is going on with this team? Because it seems like the Eagles have to bottom out before we can start to get things going back in the right direction. It's just crazy to me, some of the things we're hearing, and we're going to get into all of it. I promise we're going to talk about all of it. But I do want to talk about a few good things right off the bat, okay? Some positive stuff, because I need to hear it. I honestly, I need to hear some positive, okay? First thing. Our boy Jalen Carter made the PFWA All-Rookie Team. Shout out to Jalen Carter. I don't know that he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. He had it in the bag, but I think over the last few weeks, I'm not sure that that's going to work out. So I'm not sure he's going to get it. But congratulations to making the All-Rookie Team. That's really cool. Second thing, compensatory picks look like... we kind of know what we're going to get. So here's what they said today. The Pound Eagles are set to receive 4 compensatory picks in the 2024 draft. 3rd round pick for Javon Hargrave. That's a nice pick. Obviously, the pick is not as good as the player. 5th round pick for Isaac Seumalo. Man, I wish that was a 3rd round pick. 5th round pick for Andre Dillard. 5th round pick for TJ Edwards. That's the most in the NFL. And those are major players. I'll tell you what, I feel like in some ways we're okay going forward without Hargrave. But I tell you what, Isaac Seumalo would have been perfect right now. Especially if Kelsey ends up retiring. You would have had him at right guard. Cam Jurgens could have been backed up center the whole year and then go right into start this year. And it might have been pretty good. But, hey, listen, the Eagles do have 4 compensatory picks, most in the NFL, and I think that's a great thing, okay? I think it's absolutely a great thing. Now, there's some really stupid things going on. Did you guys see this Pro Football Talk? And of course you text me what I'm doing. I'm dumb, I can't talk. But did you see this thing on Pro Football Talk where they're talking about Jalen Hurts may need a change of scenery and the Eagles could look to trade him? What the hell is wrong with these people? Why on earth are we ever going to trade Jalen Hurts at this point? This is some stupid stuff. Not to mention Jalen Hurts has a no trade clause. But why would you do it? Okay? The Eagles have just fired their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. They're doing this Nick Sirianni kind of threw some people under the bus. But he's trying to keep his job, and they're also going to try to get things fixed for Jalen Hurts. Now, we're going to talk about some offensive coordinators in a minute, but I got to talk a little bit more about Jalen Hurts first, because that PFT, talking about Jalen Hurts needing a change of scenery, it comes after a lot of stuff is coming out about Jalen Hurts. A lot of sources are coming out with Jalen Hurts. Now, here's basically what the reports have been saying, right? Report sources close to and around the team say Jalen Hurts should have been a better leader this season and at times was described as detached, stoic, isolated, and unapproachable, says at J. Santacoluido. I can never pronounce his name. That's probably why he's got me blocked. A source of the Eagles described Jalen Hurts as a, quote, good dude who sometimes doesn't realize when he's acting like a prima donna. Multiple sources close and inside the Eagles confirmed this. This is now multiple different reports coming out about Jalen Hurts' leadership. So, the San Qualito, I can't pronounce his name, and he does have me blocked. He really does, and probably I deserve it. I'll be honest with you. I went when he came out because he's the same guy that put out the Carson Wentz report a few years ago. I went off. I went off about it. I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, and he turned out to be right about it. So I give the guy credit because he was right about the Carson Wentz thing. You know, I was wrong, and I probably was kind of harsh on him. It's never personal, but I really, I didn't believe it about Carson Wentz. So now he's got a report about Jalen Hurts, and here are my thoughts on this whole report. Right, I think if you look at Jalen Hurts, if we're gonna keep this real, keep this 100, you look at Jalen Hurts on the sideline. You look how many times he's sitting by himself when the camera shows, or he's shaking his head sitting there by himself. He does look isolated, at least from the camera and a lot of things that we see. It's very true. But Jalen Hurts, on just his personality, is a quiet guy. He's a quiet guy. So I think that when you lose and when things don't go right, these things tend to get over exaggerated. I feel like most likely, all the things they're saying about Jalen Hurts right now is probably somewhat, there's probably some truth to what they're saying. He probably did seem detached to certain players or isolated. I know there was talk about, A.J. Brown being the kind of like the alpha male in the friendship, the guy who's loud, boisterous, and Jalen Hurts is more quiet, more subdued. And there's probably some truth to it. There's some players saying that he's unapproachable, apparently. But I don't think this is as bad as the Wentz situation. I don't think this is a situation where Jalen Hurts is a bad guy. It even says that everybody thinks he's a good dude. He's a good guy. It's not like Carson Wentz where he literally had the locker room split and some guys just didn't like him and it was a personality thing that couldn't change. This, to me, just seems like when you lose, these are the things that people harp on, and there's probably things that the Eagles want Jalen Hurts to do to become a better leader. People got to remember, he's still young. He's still very young. He's still learning, and when you go to the Super Bowl, then you get a big contract, and then you have all the endorsement deals, and then you're doing all that stuff. You kind of, it's easy to get distracted by all those things. I think Jalen Hurts, I think he'll be fine. I'm not really worried about this going on in the future in terms of will this be a problem. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Jalen Hurts wants to win. He's going to do everything he can. And if there are things he has to work on, like everybody else, in terms of being a leader, I'm sure he'll do that. But what's important to me, and more than anything, is to get good people around Jalen Hurts, good coaches around him. There are reports about, Brian Johnson that Hurts did not like the things that he was coaching, and you could even see it. You remember the one little clip where they show Hurts look away and roll his eyes. There was obviously something there. Jalen Hurts, is he probably quiet at times? Yeah, he probably is, because you could tell the way he's quiet in a press conference. But do I think that Jalen Hurts is a bad leader or unlikable or anything like that? Do I think this is going to be a problem going forward? No. I think Hurts will continue to grow as a leader and as a franchise quarterback, and he will be fine. But now, because this is out, you're getting stupid things like PFT talking about trading Jalen Hurts and things like that. None of this is at that level, okay? The biggest problem and let me tell you, Jalen Hurts is the least of our problems. We have way bigger problems, way bigger issues than Jalen Hurts, okay? Now, if you go into next year and it's some more of the same type things with him and you have different coaches and it's still happening, then I understand you may have an issue. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Jalen Hurts wants to do what he has to do to win. And where he's going to improve, he will improve. I'm sure of it. He just seems like, that kind of guy. As where Carson was more, no, this is the way it is. This is how I'm going to do it. And that's just the way it is. So I think new coaches will go a long way. But it's really interesting because is it Nick Sirianni? Is it Brian Johnson? What was the big problem on the offense? Where was the disconnect? Where is the disconnect with the coaches, the play calling, and Jalen Hurts? Because to me, that's where the problem really is. Now they fired Brian Johnson, and now we're getting reports that some of the staff members are upset about this. 97.5 wrote this: staff members are upset about Brian Johnson being let go by says Jay Fowler. There's some weird vibes out there. I just don't know that everybody on the staff is happy about everything that's gone down, especially with Brian Johnson, who was sort of caught in the middle. And I said it yesterday. I think Brian Johnson is a scapegoat. I think he's a scapegoat. You can't tell me Nick Sirianni, Nick Kotite, is going to sit there and go out there and say, this is my offense, I'm calling the plays. We know about him interfering with the game plan and forcing certain things that Brian Johnson was going to have to do. And then you fire Brian Johnson for it. I don't think that's fair. I think he is a scapegoat. At the same time, I don't see how you could keep Nick Sirianni and keep the offensive coordinator. You have to make changes. And when you talk about the offensive coordinators, the guys, there's a couple guys I would like to see, right? The first, I think Frank Reich is the most likely scenario. I honestly do. I think if Frank Reich wants a job, I think they're going to give it to him. And the reason is because Nick Sirianni is not going to have the play calling anymore. He's going to lose that in order to keep his job. And Frank Reich is liked within the Eagles front office, and Nick thinks the world of him. So that may be the best guy for them to put in there, where both the front office and the coach are happy. But if I had my choice, I'll tell you what, I would make a run at Bieniemy. If Bieniemy is not going to be a head coach, and Washington with new coaches, you don't know how that's going to work. If they could get Eric Bieniemy, I would do it in a second. I think what he did with Mahomes, I think even what he did with Howe, was pretty good. I think with Jalen Hurts and with this offense, with Devontae Smith, with A.J. Brown, with Goddard, I think this offense would be awesome. Awesome. I would love Bieniemy. That would probably be my number one choice, but I don't know. And I think the most intriguing guy is the guy Zach Robinson, who's the passing coordinator of the Rams. Now, he's getting a lot of interest in places, but if you look at the Rams and you look at their pass design, their pass plays, their designs, man, that offense is really, really good. And you get a guy like that for Jalen Hurts in this offense, it would be huge. They've got to put somebody who can really help Jalen Hurts going forward. It's very important that they get the right guy, because this season, besides all the leadership things that I'm sure he's going to work on, we got to get better. We got to take this offense to the next level. They're too talented to have all these issues, especially on offense. So it's been a crazy day. It's a whole crazy thing, and I really hope, and I said this in my intro, but I really hope that the media tomorrow actually asks questions. Go out there and ask questions to Nick Sirianni and to Howie Roseman. Ask the tough questions. Ask about Brian Johnson. Ask about the reports on Jalen Hurts' leadership. Ask what happened. Ask why the team quit on you. These are the things we need to know. And if they don't answer these questions tomorrow, it's going to be really, really annoying to me. It really is. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. And I was thinking about this. The report with the whole thing about some of the people, the staff that's not happy with them getting rid of Brian Johnson. You're gonna have to fire other coaches. You're gonna have to fire linebacker coaches. You're gonna have to fire defensive line coaches. Maybe not defensive line coach, but you might have to fire running back coach. You might have to fire a lot more coaches once you get new coordinators in there, especially if people aren't happy. You can't have that going into the next season. You have to have everything cleared out, everything hit rock bottom, so that we can build this thing back up and get back to the Super Bowl where we belong. Denzel Washington out.